It's HPR1, All Things Considered, and I'm Dave Lawrence. Last week, as we were conducting our fall pledge drive, the music world lost Corey Wells, Three Dog Night singer and one of the founders of the group. Corey Wells passed away on October 20th in his sleep at home in Dunkirk, New York. He was 74 years old. The band charted 21 Billboard Top 40 hits, 3 of them hit number 1. They're reported to have sold 40 million albums, 12 of those went gold. Many of the band's successful singles crafted by other well-known songwriters like Harry Nilsson, Laura Nyro, and Randy Newman. Songs like One, Joy to the World, and Mama Told Me Not to Come still factor into regular radio programming. And ahead of a 2007 Honolulu Symphony appearance with Three Dog Night, Corey Wells took time for this conversation that we share now in his honor. Corey.
Hello, David. How are you?
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for being willing to take a couple minutes.
Yeah.
How's your tour been this year?
Hectic. Lots of touring. Trying to do a brand new CD at the same time. And it's, even back in the 70s, it was you either went in and made the albums in those days, or you were working, you were touring. Now you got to tour and you got to make the CDs. But technology has helped that out, I guess, a little bit.
Since you mentioned vinyl, one of my favorite Three Dog Night vinyls, on the back of it, it showed this fisheye lens.
Oh, yeah, that's live at the Forum. That was the live performance.
That's a great cover.
It was very good to us. I like it, too.
So, how many, are you still kicking like 80 dates a year or something like that?
Yeah, and I think they're trying to kick it up to more than that. But, I have to put a lid on it to a certain point because it starts getting kind of crazy. And that was one of the main problems that happened the first time around or second time around is the family suffered because there was no time for families or and relationships were starting to break apart and all that stuff. So I try to keep it so that's a happy mix between the two. You work, but yet you're still home with family and friends and things.
So you don't bring the family out on the road?
No. She's way past that.
Okay. Even when you're coming here?
Huh?
Even when you're coming out here?
No, she's here. No, she's here.
So she's not that far past it.
She picks and chooses the one she likes.
It's called selective touring, Brother Corey. That's what that is.
That's exactly right.
What's your wife's name?
Mary.
Mary. Nice.
Yeah.
Mary and Corey.
And the wind cries, Mary.
Throwing some Jimmy reference. We love that kind of talk. This would certainly rank itself as one of the more interesting stops of the year, but what are some of the other places, if you think back over the year very quickly, what pops into your head as places that were fun or special experiences?
This one, actually, here in Honolulu, we did a thing with Chicago here. We shared the bill, and that was back in the 70s. And one of the things I remember is that as a practical joke, our guitar player, for some reason or another, they were clearing the sound system out, and he threw up a M80 or what do they call those little firecrackers? Right. And it blew off with the sound on, and it blew the speakers out. Mr. Michael had an exorbitant bill to pay on speakers. So I remember that. Different gigs. The Dallas Cotton Bowl, he had 46,000 people there. It looked like people were there for a football game. They were there to see us, and we had Rod Stewart open for us. So
another 70s gig.
Yeah.
And so the one with the firecracker and the speaker, that was here at the Blaisdell Arena?
Yeah. It was
the HIC.
The HIC, right.
You remember it, though?
Yes, I do.
And that was here.
I think so does Mike.
That is outrageous, man. And what other, now that you've named some other bands, I've always thought that about Three Dog Night.
During that time, it was a lot of love-ins, festivals, where there were a zillion acts on the gig that went for a weekend. The old love-ins. Yeah. And so Hendrix, worked with Hendrix. We worked with Frank Zappa.
Did you like working with Frank?
Yeah, well, Frank was a friend of mine, close friend of mine. I knew him before I even knew I was in Three Dog Night.
You're an animal. I love that, dude.
Yeah. Just Young Rascals, the Mamas and the Papas, Jefferson Airplane. And the funny thing about it is you never got to see them or talk to them or anything because it was, in those days, you were shuffled in and out. You were brought to the site when you were going to go on an hour, half hour, and you did your sign, and zoom, you were shuttled out. So you never saw the act before you or the act after you.
I got a crazy poster. It's Pocono Raceway, Pennsylvania. It's Three Dog Night and Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Is that a good one or what, Brother Corey?
That's a good one. Huh? Deep Purple. I remember we did a couple with them. We just did a blues festival which is kind of really, I mean, it's like, wow. And we get invited to do a blues festival, and we were like, when we were on the stage, we said, basically, people, we're not a blues band. I don't, have no idea why we're here. So we worked up like 3 blues songs for it, and they went over great. People loved it.
Rising to the challenge you were.
Yes.
This gig is special that you're doing here in town because you're gigging with the Symphony.
Yeah. We have a CD out that was released about 2 or 3 years ago where we actually flew to London, England, and recorded at Abbey Road Studio.
That's right.
Pretty exciting. And recorded with the London Symphony. And it was just something we wanted to do, and it was fabulous. And we came back, and that was it. We're just going to release the CD, and that was it. But someone said, you got to continue this on. This is too good not to continue on. So we did a DVD with the Tennessee Symphony Orchestra. And then after that was done, then people said, hey, you've got to do this on the road somewhere. So every town we went to, like we performed with the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra and in Dallas, Texas, we did one. And, so it went on and on and on and on. So
it was like rabbits.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're popping up with the Symphony wherever you got a chance.
That's right. That's right.
That's a good racket. I'm always impressed. Bands reach and find little niches like that.
Yeah.
And it's inspirational with careers. I leave you with, for fans out there who are seeking some sort of inspiration, you're a cat who's been doing what you're doing a long, long time. You still are using the name Three Dog Night. You're out there and you're working. When you faced challenges, uncertainty, moments you weren't sure what the future was going to bring, and you got through it, what advice could you give to your fans as to how to make it through those moments?
Well, one of the things I would have to say is if the fan is a musician and he wants to make it in this business, and I know that this is a pitfall for a lot of musicians, and it seems glamorous and it seems very, very exciting, but if they can, to stay away from drugs, because that's the first thing that will kill any band, and it certainly almost killed us. I never took drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that stuff. But I knew that because I was concentrating on what I love to do, and I didn't want to jeopardize my love that I wanted to do.
Your dream.
So, yeah, exactly. So I would say just if you really, really love music and you really want to stay in it and you want to stay in it for a long time, I'd say stay away from those kind of things because those are the first things that kill you right away.
And what about besides music, just in general? Is there anything in particular that you've used as a well of just motivation?
Just stay focused and stay on course with whatever you believe in. I think the main thing is you have to believe in whatever you're pursuing or you're doing in order to stay that way. And if you really believe in it, stay with it. Don't be sidetracked and don't let anybody talk you out of anything. Just stay on track and go with it, and you should do fine.
I like that. That's important to pass along stuff like that because people look up to artists, and
you got it.
For guys like you to be able to share some of the lessons you learned along the way.
Yeah. If somebody told me I would have been touring at this age, I would have said, no way.
You're a model of persistence, Brother Corey. Hey, buddy, I appreciate it. I wish you well on your visit. I want nothing but good things to come your way. Three Dog Night and the great Corey Wells. Brother Corey, I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Be safe, brother.
Bye-bye.
Aloha.
Aloha to everyone. This is Corey Wells and Three Dog Night, and you're listening to Dave Lawrence.